A very good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Ashish Vaswani and you are watching Deadlines Tonight. It's the 8th of July 2014, ladies and gentlemen, and today it has been a big day for India, especially because the Union Railway budget has been released by our Union Railway Minister, Mr. D.S. Sadanand Gowda. Tonight's webcast will be focused around the railway budget and the implications that it will have on commuters all over the country. So let's begin with tonight's newscast of Deadlines Tonight. We will begin with presenting a few highlights of the railway budget as presented by the Union Railway Minister, Mr. Sadanand Gowda. The day started off on a slightly somber note because the markets were expecting some sort of reconciliation and some sort of course correction from the railway minister, especially after getting a negative feedback of sorts when a freight increase of 5% and a passenger fare increase of 10% was announced in the interim budget. The markets were also expecting something positive from the railway stocks, and a lot of eyes were on stocks like the BHEL, that's Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, and other railway-based stocks. However, the markets haven't quite responded positively to what the Union Railway Minister had to say in the Union Railway budget. But there are a whole lot of reasons for that. You could blame that on profit booking by traders. That's because of consolidation had to happen in the market sooner than later. So we will talk about the implications of the railway budget through this episode, along with all the other top stories from India and around the world. Let us take a look at what the Union Railway Minister had to say in the railway budget. There was a lot of focus and emphasis on public and private partnership. The Union Railway Minister has repeatedly in his speech to the Parliament mentioned that the kind of losses that the Indian Railways had been making over the last 10 years has been solely because passenger and freight fares had not been increased by the amount that they were supposed to. In fact, fares were kept at the bare minimum, even below operating costs, which is why the current NDA government faces a stiff challenge ahead of itself to maintain not just the current financials of the Indian Railways in order, but to complete the pending projects of previous governments, to take over all the losses and convert them possibly into profits in the next 5 years and deliver on the promises that they have made. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important to note that there were absolutely no new projects mentioned by the Union Railway Minister in today's speech. And this can be explained by the vision and mission of the Railway Minister when he addressed Rajya Sabha's TV later in the day after his budget. And he gave an exclusive interview to the channel saying that no new projects were launched or announced in the railway budget, as is the norm, simply because this government aims to deliver the promises that they had set out to achieve. So, as you must have noticed by now, there were hardly any new projects. In fact, the only kind of updates mentioned by the Union Railway Minister were that a lot of added facilities would be given to commuters. For example, Wi-Fi would be provided on some special trains. Wi-Fi would also be provided on some major railway stations. Refurbishment of many railway stations is to be carried out with the help of people participation and private public participation. Partnership programs, I beg your pardon. Apart from that, the Union Railway Minister had mentioned in his speech about lots of important facilities that may not make sense in the short term, but they have a lot of long-term impact according to many people. One of which is the announcement of the bullet train between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. So many people would argue that the basic necessities like cleanliness and on-time performance, IRCTC, online ticket booking systems uh, have to achieve a certain level of sorry for that minor interruption, ladies and gentlemen. We are expecting a few technical glitches, but we have got them in order as of now. We were talking about the special initiatives and announcements made by the Union Railway Minister today in his speech when he addressed the Parliament and the upper house of Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, and also gave us insights into what the railway ministry has planned out as far as the next financial year is concerned. Um, Apart from the bullet train between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, the railway minister has also promised that the northeast of India will get better connectivity as compared to previous years, simply because the current rate at which trains come and go towards the northeast is not adequate enough. So around 52 new trains or 54 new trains, I'm not very sure on that. Please excuse me. A lot of trains have been introduced, announced between the northeast of India and the rest of India. Uh, Apart from that, the Union Railway Minister has also stressed upon the fact that We, as of now, are the fourth largest freight carriers in the world, only after US, China, and another nation that I'm not very sure of. The Union Railway Minister has said that if we continue at the pace at which we are growing, we are well on our way to become the largest freight carrier in the world. Indian Railways carries 1 billion tons of freight annually, and that amount is set to grow in the years to come. The Indian postal services rely heavily on the Indian Railways, and the Indian Railways is the world's largest carrier of post. That's a fun fact that you can take note of. That's the gist of the Union Railway budget as presented by the Railway Minister D.S. Sadanand Gowda today in Parliament. We keenly await the union budget that will be presented by our Honorable Finance Minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, on the 10th of July, that's day after tomorrow. Let us now take you live to DD News that is giving us some updates about the Honorable Prime Minister's views on the Union Railway budget.
समग्रतः भारत के विकास को ध्यान में रख करके रेलवे बजट में बल दिया गया है। 21वीं सदी का भारत, इसकी नींव इस आधुनिक रेल बजट में दिखाई देती है। विज्ञान और टेक्नोलॉजी का भरपूर उपयोग आने वाले दिनों में हो। रेलवे जैसा तंत्र एडहॉक रूप से नहीं चल सकता। हर प्रकार के निर्णय प्रक्रिया के लिए, नए विजन के लिए, नए इनिशिएटिव के लिए इंस्टीट्यूशनल मैकेनिज्म होना बहुत जरूरी होता है। रेलवे का ये बजट इंस्टीट्यूशनल मैकेनिज्म को बल देता है। रेलवे सिर्फ यातायात का साधन नहीं है। रेलवे भारत की विकास यात्रा का ग्रोथ इंजन है। इस बार का रेलवे बजट इस बात को सिद्ध करेगा कि देश के विकास में रेलवे एक अहम भूमिका निभाता है। आजादी के बाद अगर रेलवे पर हमने बल दिया होता तो आज विकास की नई ऊंचाइयों को पाने में रेलवे सहायक होता। देर आए दुरुस्त आए, हमने 2014 से विकास की इस गति को, विकास की इस ऊंचाई को आरंभ किया है। मुझे विश्वास है कि रेल यात्रा में सफर करने वाले यात्रियों को सुखद अनुभव होगा और देश के विकास से जुड़े हुए लोगों के लिए ये विकास का विश्वास देगा।
Let's kick off our discussion right.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, was our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi giving his support and encouragement to the Union Railway budget, very rightly pointing out that the Indian Railways is the driving engine and the driving force behind the nation and its economy. With those thoughts, let us now take a look at the market's reaction on the Union Railway budget. We'll now take you across live to another channel, another business channel this time, which is CNBC TV 18. It's no longer. Sorry about that ad, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we should get our webcast to CNBC TV 18 in just a few.
So what can we expect from Arun Jaitley on Thursday? Finance Ministry sources say government only 6 weeks old and therefore the budget must be seen in that context. We understand from sources in the Finance Ministry that the budget will lay out a clear roadmap for economic revival. The budget may reiterate the commitment of this government as far as diesel deregulation goes and also talk about targeting LPG and kerosene subsidies to those that really need it. Something else that we could expect is perhaps promotion of renewable energy, especially solar energy. So perhaps we should temper our expectations ahead of the budget. Directionally is what we understand this government is going to articulate where it sees growth headed over the next 5 years and the kind of reform agenda it's likely to follow. But maybe in terms of actual tangible action, like in the railway budget today, it will fall short of specifics. Now, the British Osborne met with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today. He said Britain is excited about the pace of reform. British Chancellor George Osborne met with Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today. He said Britain is excited about the pace of reforms in India as the new government is in place. He also said that the UK has pledged $1 billion credit line for infrastructure development in India.
Well, we had a very good meeting and we talked about how we can strengthen the British and India economic relationship.
So as we saw, there a lot of expectation and hope riding on the union budget that is going to be presented by the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. The Chancellor of UK was also in a meeting with him earlier in the day. So a lot of expectations that need to be either lived up to or delivered or lambasted. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would now like to give a break to the continuous railway budget coverage that we've been doing over the last 17 minutes and now take you across to more detailed news from India. We will now take a look at the Economic Times, which this morning ran a cover story on Starbucks entry into Chennai. So Tata Starbucks is all set to launch its first store in Chennai, and this could well be one of its toughest battles yet, because it seeks to make a dent in the filter coffee capital of India, that's Chennai. Not just is Starbucks launching in Chennai, it is launching with a bang because 3 stores are set to open, were set to open this Tuesday, that's today, and it will not only have to contend with some stiff competition from traditional names like Madras Coffee House, it will also have to jostle with various Kumbakonam degree coffee outlets that are dotting the city. So some stiff challenges lined up ahead for Tata Starbucks there in Chennai. Starbucks ventured into India with an equal stake joint venture.
Suspicious item. Suspicious item has been detected.
Joint venture with the Tata Global Beverages, and it rapidly scaled up and opened 12 Starbucks stores during 2012-13 in Mumbai and New Delhi. And as of July, it has 49 stores in India. You can visit www.ilovestarbucks.in for our very special coverage of the marketing behind Tata Starbucks. Do check it out whenever you find the time. It's a very special read, very close to my heart because Starbucks is a brand that we are very closely associated. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, uh, let us take you across to another update, which is slightly old news right now, but since this happened after our last edition, we'd like to bring you news about IIM Bangalore's new director, new dean, Sushil Vachani. Sushil Vachani has been appointed as the dean of IIM Bangalore very recently, and he says that technology will be woven into most courses. Now, like Ashish Nanda, who's heading IIM Ahmedabad, uh, Sushil Vachani is a former BCG executive, that's Boston Consulting Group, and he has also graduated, like Ashish Nanda, from Harvard Business School and IIM Ahmedabad. Both Nanda and Vachani, who are friends, have also worked at the Tata Administrative Services, so they have quite a pedigree and lineage for handling situations like this. And this is going to be a tough challenge for Sushil Vachani, coming from spending time at places like Harvard and BCG and now moving to IIM Bangalore. That's very similar to his alma mater, IIM Ahmedabad. So some stiff challenges lying ahead of him because his focus on massively online open courseware and leveraging technology in most courses uh, is something that he will find a lot of uh, challenges, difficulties, roadblocks, because a lot of India's engineers and males dominate the B schools, especially the premier ones as of now. And Sushil Vachani's mandate is to skew that ratio in favor of females and non-engineers as well. For more coverage about Sushil Vachani, you can read his exclusive one-on-one interview with the Mint that appeared in the Saturday edition, that's the July 5th edition of the Mint. Um, you can go to the livemint.com website and access the electronic version, or you could grab your copy of Saturday, the July 5th edition of Mint to read more about Sushil Vachani and his take on how he will take IIM Bangalore forward. It's 8:22. We are just a few minutes away from close, and before we close for the evening, let's take you across to some other interesting news. Uh, so Emma Watson has been appointed a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador. Um, Now she joins the list of her predecessors, such as Angelina Jolie and Oprah Winfrey. I'm not very sure of Oprah Winfrey, but she had something to do with United Nations. Uh, she says that she has a lot to learn, but she's only 24 years old. Remember that Hermione Granger was played by Emma Watson, and that's one role that she'll always be remembered for. But here, as in her new role as UN Women Goodwill Ambassador, she joins the UN, which is dedicated to furthering gender equality. Uh, I quote Emma Watson here. She says, being asked to serve as a UN Women's Goodwill Ambassador is truly humbling. The chance to make a real difference is not an opportunity that everyone is given and is one I have no intention of taking lightly. Women's rights are something so inextricably linked with so deeply personal and rooted in my life that I can't imagine an opportunity more exciting. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Emma Watson, daughter of dentists from UK who made it big with the Harry Potter franchise. Uh, Another important update from our neighbor is that Afghanistan has elected a new prime minister. after Hamid Karzai. We will cut you across to the newspaper Economic Times and the second page of the Economic Times. I ran a story on this today. So let's grab our copy of the Economic Times and was it the Mint? Kindly excuse me. Pardon my mistake, ladies and gentlemen. This hasn't been covered by any newspaper today, but Afghanistan has a new prime minister, and you can read more about that on any of the news websites. We are slightly running short of time, and we'll just leave you with glimpses of something that you are going to catch later in the night, early next morning. That's 1:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen. And each one of us will be keenly glued onto our television sets for that clincher of a semi-final between Brazil and Germany, where the hosts take on the current favorites, one of the current favorites, Germany, in the first semi-final of the FIFA World Cup 2014. So all eyes on that semi-final for later this evening, ladies and gentlemen. With that, it's a wrap on tonight's edition of Deadlines Tonight. This is me, Ashish Vaswani, signing off from everyone on behalf of Deadlines Tonight. We would like it if you could leave your comments and feedback on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/deadlines tonight. I beg your pardon. You can also leave your feedback on my personal Twitter profile. My handle on Twitter is Gora Chhora. That's GORACHHORA. We are available on Google Plus as well. You could do well to search for Deadlines Tonight on all existing social media platforms. We look forward to your continued support, and remember the deadlines tonight. Good night.